It began with a flicker, a strange ripple in the air at the edge of my vision. I was walking a familiar moss-scented lane when the world bent, as if heat shimmered on a cool grey afternoon. Drawn by curiosity, I reached out and touched the disturbance. It felt like cool water, but dry. I pushed my hand through, tingling with unnatural energy. The hum in my bones was ancient, and I should have run, but the pull was irresistible. With a deep breath, I stepped through the shimmering veil. The world didn't explode into chaos. Dread crept in slowly. I stood in the same spot, but everything was wrong. Air heavy with a metallic tang, colours muted, and silence pressing in. The city's sounds were gone, replaced by a suffocating quiet. I turned, searching for the portal home, but it had vanished. Panic prickled as I ran my hands over the cold, solid bricks. No way back. I was trapped in a perfect, terrible copy of my world. The silence was absolute, broken only by my frantic heartbeat. This place looked like home, but felt like a tomb. I was an unwelcome visitor, and something in the shadows was listening. The veil was gone, I was alone, and the nightmare had only just begun. My footsteps echoed unnaturally loud in the empty city. The architecture was familiar, but twisted. Victorian buildings leaning in, windows like vacant eyes. No people, no cars, just a city frozen in terror. Red phone boxes stood like sentinels, receivers dangling mid-call. Newspapers littered the pavement, headlines from a day that never ended. Everything was hyper-real, yet sterile. No weeds, no dust, no decay. The air was still, the city holding its breath. In a bakery, perfect pastries hid beneath a fine grey mould. In the butcher's, meat hung pale and lifeless. This world wasn't just empty, it was quietly rotting. A child's tricycle spun slowly in the road, squeaking with no wind to move it. The sound was maddening, a sign I wasn't alone. Something unseen was watching, toying with me. The city was occupied by things I couldn't see, and my presence had been noticed. The sense of being watched grew into certainty. Shadows moved at the edge of my vision, shapes in windows, gone when I turned. They never revealed themselves fully, only enough to keep my nerves raw. Not human, long, thin, limbs bending impossibly, movements jerky and unnatural. Their presence pressed on my sanity, a constant silent threat. Sometimes I heard them, wet scraping above, chittering in alleys. They hunted me slowly, savouring my fear. Once, in a shop window reflection, I saw one behind me, tall, gaunt, faceless, wrapped in dark, wet leather. I spun around. Nothing. But the image was burned into my mind. Every shadow became a threat, every sound a warning. I stopped looking in windows, afraid of what I'd see. The watchers were always there, relentless and patient. They haunted the silence, their presence as real as the ground beneath my feet. They weren't just following me. They were becoming part of my reality, and I was utterly alone. Days blurred into endless grey twilight. Time lost all meaning. I wandered the city's labyrinth, every street identical, hope fading into despair. The demons grew bolder, standing in plain sight, watching, waiting. Their patience was inhuman, their silence a weapon. I tried every door, every alley, always back to the same street, the same sky. I realized I wasn't wandering, I was being herded. The watchers had become my jailers, guiding me to a final destination. The silence changed. Beneath it, a low hum grew louder. The city vibrated, the ground trembled, and the watchers stood motionless. They were servants, not masters. Something worse was coming. I cannot run. I cannot hide. The corridor is endless, and at its end a terrible truth awaits. There is no way out. There never was.